Hey guys, what's up? Hope everyone's having a great day and I hope all is well in your world. Okay, we are continuing on with day 12 of Ambi Pants on the stand in the UK trial where she was just a witness and Depp took NGN and Dan Wootton to task for calling him a wife pauper. Where we left off was where she lied to not Homeland Security, to Australian authorities. She lied to border control. She lied to absolutely everyone when she said she did not bring the dogs. When she lied about the dogs, the Australian dog situation. Can't believe she got away with that. Anyways, just one more thing she got away with. One day she's going to be held accountable for something. One day. I will be there to watch it happen. Okay, so then when we were done with Australia dog situation, Miss Laws, who was Depp's attorney for the UK, one of his attorneys for the UK, they were going into Malaysia train incident. So we're going to start right here, right there. And so Miss Laws said, all right, let us move on to the Malaysia train incident, which is incident 10. I'm going to suggest this was yet another occasion when you had a row and it was you who lost your temper. Amber, no, I disagree. Can I ask you to have a look at file 11, tab 168? Do you have it? Amber, yes, I do. This is a photograph taken on the train, is it not? Amber, yes. Miss Laws, Mr. Depp had an injury on his face, did he not? Did he not? Amber, nope. Miss Laws, on his nose, you can see it. Amber, nope. Miss Laws, this is yet another occasion when you have completely turned an incident around and blame Mr. Depp, is it not? Amber, no, I have tons of pictures from this vacation and these days, and he is uninjured. He strangled me. Miss Laws, I'm going to move on. Can I ask you, please, to get up file 2? Now, it is your first witness statement that I'm taking you to, which is tab 60. Do you have that paragraph? They're looking for the paragraph. Amber, yes. Ms. Laws, this is, if I may, your account of what took place in incident 12, which is an incident which you say took place on December 15th, 2015. I'm just going to take you through what you allege Mr. Depp actually did. You were having a row, paragraph 138. Got mad at me, threw another glass decanter at me, and in the process, he pulled clumps of my hair out. You got free, managed to escape. He followed you, caught up with you, grabbed you by the hair again. He also hit you in the back of your head, dragged you by the hair up the stairs. He pulled you to the top. He shoved you a couple of times, making you afraid that you would lose your balance and fall down the stairs. You had to get him to stop. Whoa, wait a minute. It just occurred to me. Why wouldn't she think right then and there of Kate Moss on the stairs? Why wouldn't that be where that comes in? Making you afraid you lose your balance and fall down the stairs. You had to get him to stop. You said that you thought he had broken your wrist, hoping he would calm down, but it did not work. He kept hitting and shouting. He was out of control. He knocked you to the floor. Each time you stood back up and looked him in the eye, he would yell at you and carry on screaming at you. The last time you got up, he took a step back and then headbutted you, hitting you right in the nose with his forehead, causing you to stagger back, stunned and feeling a searing pain with your eyes tearing up and your nose started bleeding, in shock, holding your face, bleeding and crying. So, that is your account of the headbutt, but it continues. I turned to walk away from him. He came up and pushed me and again grabbed me by the hair. Face down into the mattress, smothering me, pulling out my hair. You were suffocating, trying to scream. You could not get a sound out, panicking. It felt like he had blacked out. His whole weight was on you, and he put his knee on your back and his other foot on the bed frame, so that is his whole weight. At the same time, he was punching me in the head, screaming loudly in my ear how much he hated me. The bed frame splintered, and that's all I remember. That is how it ended. So that is your account. That is just complete set of lies, is it not? Amber, no. Ms. Laws, yes or no? Amber, no. Ms. Laws, can I ask you to close that statement and go to file 9, tab 139? Amber, whenever it is convenient, may I have a very, very short, not now, but whenever it's convenient, may I have a short restroom break, just 1 minute? And Justice Nickel, we would normally have a break about this time, Ms. Laws. Is now a convenient time? Ms. Laws, if the witness cannot carry on, it's convenient. And Justice Nickel, I'm not sure she said that, but we will want to have a break soon. Ms. Laws, I will carry on with the point just for a few minutes. We will finish this point and then have a break. Yes, you never want to break in the middle of an incident because she panicked. She's like, fuck, get me out of here. And Justice Nickel, are you happy with that, Ms. Heard? We will have a break in a few minutes. Amber, yes, of course. You said 139. Ms. Laws, 139, we have looked at some of these notes before, but this is the note of Aaron Baroon, the nurse, who by this time you had become friendly with. Is that right or not? Amber, yes, that's right. Ms. Laws, we can see halfway down the page her entry for December 16th. Do you see that entry? Amber, I do. And you were contacting her by phone, stating that you had had an argument with your husband, Mr. Depp, the previous night. You said Mr. Depp had left home and you were unaware of his location. You said you got into a verbal disagreement with him and that your husband was drunk, inebriated rather, and that the disagreement escalated and that he used his forehead to hit your head. You denied loss of consciousness and said that you had a headache and a bruised eye. Aaron Baroon encouraged you to notify Dr. Kipper and or go to emergency room if you were injured or felt like you were in danger, and you declined. You said your friend Rocky was with you and your husband would not be able to re-enter the home. Now, that was over the phone, that conversation, but the very next day, on December 17th, Erin is in contact with you to notify you that she will be able to deliver your medications to your home. So she turned up, this is quite late at 11 o'clock at night, and waited at the door for several minutes after knocking. You greeted her at the door looking disheveled, with your hair unbrushed, weepy and sad, slouched posture, and you told Miss Baroon about the argument with Mr. Depp. Then there is a discussion about her offering emotional support and that she could not stay. It is this bit that I'm asking you about, the last sentence. The client had visible bright red blood appearing at the center of lower lip. When Aaron made client aware that she was effectively bleeding on her lip, client stated it was from the injury sustained in the argument between her and her husband, and that it continued to bleed actively. Client also stated that her head is bruised and that she lost clumps of her hair in altercation. Aaron briefly looked at client's scalp, but was unable to visualize the hematomas the client had described. Aaron encouraged the client to be seen by physician Dr. Kipper or go to emergency. You did not have any bruising at all when you saw Aaron Baroon, did you? Amber, I had 2 black eyes, a broken nose, and a broken lip, bruised ribs, bruises all over my body. Justice Nickel, just a minute. You were being particularly asked about bruises, and you said you had bruised ribs? Amber, I had bruised ribs, bruises all over my body, bruises on my forearms, and trying to defend blows. I had 2 black eyes, I had a broken nose, I had a broken lip, I had bruises primarily. The really bad ones were in my hairline, in my scalp, my chin. There were chunks of hair missing. There was pus in those wounds in my hairline, dark red bruises specifically, like purple red on my temples and my chin. The inside of my lip was cut. This is just nonsense, is it not? She did not see any bruising on your face at all, did she? Amber, she did a concussion check that night. And Justice Nickel, wait a minute. The question, it is nonsense, is one question, and the question about whether she saw anything is another. What is your response to the question that your account of the injuries is nonsense? Do you agree or disagree? Amber, I disagree. Ms. Laws, you had just bitten your lip because there was fresh blood on it. You had just done that before her benefit. Amber, of course not. Ms. Laws, oh, my lord, thank you. That would be a convenient time. So then they take a short break and then they come back. Ms. Laws, Ms. Heard, would you mind taking out file 6 again, please? Ms. Laws, now, can I ask you to look at 3 photographs, and then I'll ask you a question about them. 894, 103, and 103A appear to be the same photograph, but one of them is larger, is that right? Amber, yes, I think one of them appears to be a bit darker in quality, perhaps. So and then flick over, please, to 107A. This is not exactly the same photograph, but we can see that it would have been taken around the same time. We can actually see pieces of your hair that are in exactly the same position, just to the right as we look at the photographs on the collar of your t-shirt. So although it's not exactly the same photograph, it is showing the same thing in terms of what your face looked like, is it not? Amber, yes. Have you played around with these images in any way? Amber, I do not know how to. No. So you do not know how to. Amber, no. You do not know how to change the coloring? You do not know how to change the coloring on or anything of that nature. Amber, no, I do not know how to do that sort of thing. Ms. Laws, so we know that the evening after you alleged that you were headbutted, you ended up having to go to the James Corden show. You said with bruises, black eyes, Amber, among other injuries, yes. Ms. Laws, and was it that at 107A that we see that we have just had a look at that you were sporting underneath the makeup? Is that what you were saying? Amber, that I was what? Ms. Laws, is that what you looked like when you went to the studio for the James Corden show? Amber, I did not leave my house looking like that, no. Ms. Laws, I got ready, hair and makeup at my home and wardrobe set up downstairs and got me dressed. Injustice Nickel, hair and makeup. Amber, upstairs. Injustice, did you say you did your hair and makeup at home? Amber, I had my hair and makeup done at the home by professionals upstairs, where I typically had this set up, and downstairs typically where the wardrobe is set up. Injustice, When you talk about upstairs and downstairs, are you talking about your home at Eastern Columbia Building? Amber, yes, I'm specifically in Penthouse 5, sometimes referred to as P5, which was effectively my apartment, although I did not own it. Miss Laws, Penthouse 5, is that where you kept your clothes in the bedrooms there? Amber, yes, ma'am. Actually, there were 2 bedrooms, neither of which were used as bedrooms. It was my clothing, jewelry, hair, makeup, etc. Also, there was a station set up for those sort of things, professional hair and makeup to get me ready for appearances. Miss Laws, because your bedrooms was in Penthouse 3. Amber, yes. Miss Laws, there were no beds in Penthouse 5. Amber, that is correct. Miss Laws, you see, Samantha McMillan saw you in the night of the James Corden show before you actually had your makeup done. Amber, she did not. Justice Nickel, just a minute. Do you agree she saw you on the night of the show? Amber, it was daytime and during the show. And Justice, what were you going to ask, Miss Laws? Miss Laws, she saw you before you had your makeup on. Amber, no, she saw me while it was already being done. Miss Laws, she's your stylist, responsible for helping you get dressed, is she not? Amber, she was my stylist for a short time. When Johnny and I were married, she's Johnny's stylist. Miss Laws, she saw you when you had no makeup on. Amber, that is just not true. I was getting my hair and makeup done before she came upstairs. What happened that day was that there had been a row. And Justice Nickel, we were talking about the 15th? Miss Laws, yes, I'm putting the claimant's case, so giving you the opportunity to agree or disagree. You had a row which turned violent, and you were attacking him, and he was restraining you. Do you agree or not? Amber, no, he only came up with that story after hearing the audio. And Miss Laws, do you agree or not? Amber, I disagree. And his head came into contact with yours? Amber, yes, his head did come into contact with mine. Miss Laws, not deliberately at all. Amber, very deliberately. He clenched his fist, reeled back, and slammed his head directly into mine, into my nose. Miss Laws, can I just ask you if you still got file 6 in front of you? Amber, I do. Can you have a look at the bottom right-hand corner and look for 102? Do you have that page? Amber, yes, I do. I will ask you to look at the following page as well, and the page after that, so up to 1094. Amber, yes, ma'am. So there were marks on Johnny Depp's face that were caused by you during that row, are they not? Amber, I do not see any marks. Miss Laws, you do not see any marks. All right. And Justice Nickel, just a minute. Do you agree or disagree that you caused injury to Mr. Depp's face on that night? Amber, I do not know how I could have. I'm sorry. So just one point in relation to photograph, if I may. So looking at 122A. This is a photograph of hair you say was pulled out during this incident. Amber, this is a photo. Yes, this is just one of them. Where are the others? Where are the other pictures? Amber, we just have you with the finger in it. Oh my God. Miss Laws, you see, this is a complete setup photo, is it not? Amber, of course not. There is no, if someone is grabbing and pulling your hair out, they will be doing it from the root. Amber, what? No. Miss Laws, it will come out of the root, will it not? Amber, I do not, no, of course not. Miss Laws, no, it doesn't come out of the root. Amber, it comes out at whatever it breaks. Miss Laws, it could break halfway along the hair. Amber, it clearly broke in many places. Miss Laws, why did you then take photographs of your scalp if that's the case? Oh, mic drop. And Justice Nickel, did you or did you not? Miss Laws, why did you take a photograph of your scalp? Amber, because my scalp was in pain, so my best friend asked me to lean over and she photographed a few spots where my hair was bleeding. My hair was bleeding. I mean, my scalp was bleeding and pussy. He dragged me around from room to room that night. And Justice Nickel, just a minute. You were asked why you took a photograph of your scalp, and you said because your scalp was in pain? Amber, yes. And then when I saw the photograph, I saw the pus and blood. Did anyone else see pus and blood? Did anybody else see that? I did not see that. And Justice Nickel, you have answered the question about why you took the photograph. Ms. Laws, there is no root at all or head that we can see on any of the hairs in that photograph, are there? Amber, this is just one of the many clumps of hair that was pulled out by Johnny that night. Well, where the fuck are the other pictures, Amber? Come on. Miss Laws, my lord, there is a very short footage of the show that Miss Heard was featured on, the James Corden show, which is very short. We have not got a transcript, but the sound is not important. It is what it looks like that we are showing it for. We will just show this to you, Miss Heard, and obviously you will need to, first of all, agree or not whether this is you on the James Corden show. Amber, all right. Before we press play, is that you? Amber, that is me. And you have got, and Justice Nickel, are you able to say if that's you on the James Corden show? Amber, yes, that's me. Ms. Oz, you have bright red lipstick on. Amber, I do. Ms. Oz, and here we go. And so they show the footage. That was what you look like on the show, is it not? Amber, yes. Ms. Oz, no injury, is there? Amber, I have tons of injuries. Ms. Oz, can I ask you to go to file 9, finally, in relation to this? Ms. Laws, this is a still taken from the footage that was part of the footage we have just seen. In fact, there is another photograph on the back, but this is the photograph on 131. 113. I'm going to ask you about, you did not have a split lip when you did that with your face, did you? Did you? Like, fuck, Amber, come on. Amber, of course I did. You cannot see much on this. Right. If you can close the file, please. Amber, the reason I wore that clownish caked on red lipstick along with that caked on facial makeup is to cover those. You can tell by the size of my lip alone. So, can I ask, my lord? We are now dealing with allegations that were detailed and outlined for the first time in the amended defense document, which was dated June 21st, 2019. I'm not going to take your lordship to that. It's just to explain the order that we are going through these incidences. Your lordship, we have noted we are not dealing with them in chronological order. We are dealing with them in the order which they found their way to the document. Miss Heard, can I ask you please to deal with the very first thing that you said took place in terms of the very first assault that you allege Mr. Depp and that you say took place in early 2013? Can I take you, in fact, to your statement just to ask you one or two questions about it? Towards the bottom of that page, we have the heading, First Violent Incident, early 2013. Do you have that? Amber, yes, I do. I'm going to take you, if I may, to what is you actually allege as part of the physical assault. So if you go to paragraph 46, the last line, Mr. Depp, you say, hit you with an open hand across your cheek. And then the next thing that happens physically is the last sentence of paragraph 48. Do you have that, Amber? Yes, I do. It felt like my eye popped out. Johnny wears a lot of rings, one on every finger. This third hit knocked me off balance and I fell to the floor. Was that all true? Amber, yes. But this time, when you feel your eye popping out or about to pop out, you did not receive any injuries. Amber, I did not know. It was just the first time I'd been hit like that since I was a child. You know, I just remember it did not feel painful necessarily. It just felt like a pop. And then the first 2 times he hit me, I did not. The first time especially, I didn't not even know he was serious. I was kind of still laughing because I could only assume he was joking. I just did not know. I was stunned. And it was the third hit that threw me off because I was just trying to figure out if it was a joke. And then the pop. Miss Law, so the answer is yes. There were no injuries. Amber, other than being hit? Miss Law, I was asking about the injuries. You agree? And Justice Nickel, did you suffer any injuries as a result of this? Amber, I just, redness on my face. Miss Law, redness. Amber, my eye did not pop out. Oh my God, Amber, we know. Miss Law, are you just making this up as you go along? Amber, I have said from the very beginning, I told my therapist about it years ago, actually the day after this happened. No, you didn't. We looked at those notes, Amber. No, you didn't. Justice Nickel, Miss Heard, as I have explained to you, it is Miss Law's task to put the claimant's case to you so that you can respond. You may have said something similar on previous occasions, but it's just to deal with the present question. Amber, so then, no, I disagree. And Justice Nickel, the answer is you do not agree. Amber, exactly. And Justice, thank you. Ms. Laws, my lord, I'm now going to move on to incident 5. This is the Bahamas detox incident contained in the same statement. So I can ask you to flip to paragraph 88. This is your allegation. Do you have that? Amber, yes, I do. Your allegation here in this statement is that Mr. Depp on the 17th of August kicked you and pushed you so you fell to the ground. And Justice Nickel, 17th of August? Ms. Laws, yes. Ms. Laws, my lord, there is another incident in the Bahamas, which we will come to, but this is August 17th. This incident is the detox. 17th of August, he kicked and pushed me so that I fell to the ground, and he grabbed my hair and slapped me. Such a rage that he smashed a door so hard that it splintered. Now, can I ask you then just to close that statement, to put the file back and take out file 4, please? Ms. Laws, these are Dr. Kipper's notes because he was at one point at the island, was he not? Yes. And we have his note here, 17th of August, so the date we are talking about. Patient's fiance came to get MD and RN. MD, do you know who that is? Remember, that would be Dr. Kipper. So RN was, remember, Debbie Lloyd. stating that the patient was erratic and paranoid. That is you telling them that Mr. Depp was erratic and paranoid. RN and MD found patient sitting quietly on his porch. The patient was calm, stated he was frustrated with the process of detoxing, stated he thought he should be feeling better by now. Then they all sat together. I suggest to you that he did not assault you in any way on that day. Amber, I even let them know. Injustice, just deal with the question. Did Mr. Depp assault you? Amber, absolutely. Injustice, on the 17th of August. Amber, absolutely. Ms. Laws, can I take you to file 3, please? Do you have that tab? Everyone's looking for it. Ms. Laws, this is the libel declaration, which is dated April 10th, 2019. Do you have that in front of you? Amber, I do. Can you have a look at line 15 on that page, point 10? Do you have that? I will read it out. On August 17th, while in the Bahamas, Johnny and I got into a fight during which Johnny kicked and pushed me to the ground. Copies photographs of the broken door. If we flick through pages, we can see it here in Exhibit 4. And Justice Nickel, just a minute. Ms. Laws, do you see that? Amber, I can. Ms. Laws, that is not a photograph of a door from the Bahamas, is it? Amber, no, it is not. It was a mistake in the divorce separation. Ms. Laws, you just include any photographs, anything you can, in a very cavalier way, do you not? Amber, no, this was incorrectly attached as an exhibit during the divorce proceedings that carried on in my U.S. proceedings subsequent. This is a different door he kicked. Ms. Laws, my lord, there was a very short video of the property in the Bahamas that I'm just going to play. It does not have any sound and it's only a few seconds long. If we pause there, does this look like the inside of Mr. Depp's property in the Bahamas? Amber, it did not look like that exactly at the time, but it does look like the same house. Laws, if we can play the video. So that's a very short clip of the inside of the cabin, is it not? Amber, yes. Ms. Laws, what the photograph was doing was, or the cameraman was doing, was taking the camera and the image into the closet, turning it around and bringing it back out. Amber, into part of the closet, yes. Ms. Laws, and then turning it around. So the cameraman is turning around. You can see a very brief glimpse of a bedroom, then the living room again. Is that right? You have already accepted that there was... Justice Nickel, do you agree that that was the last question? Amber, yes. Ms. Laws, you have already accepted it was a mistake. And Justice Nickel, Ms. Heard, you may have heard me say this to other witnesses, but the recording which is being made needs to have you articulate an answer, otherwise it gets lost. Amber, yes, your lordship, I understand. Ms. Laws, my lord, moving on to the Tokyo incident, incident 7, please. This is an allegation you made dated January 2015. Where you say Mr. Depp slapped you, grabbed you by your hair, and yesterday we had a reference in your evidence that Mr. Depp, you say, knelt on your back and he was hitting you. Is that all true? Amber, yes. Did you attend a premiere whilst in Tokyo? Amber, yes. At what point did you attend the premiere, before or after the assault? Amber, 2 days after. I remember being concerned about my visible bruising on my back because my back was exposed. So the premiere was 2 days after this assault. Amber, I believe somewhere around there. So do you remember wearing a backless dress to the premiere? Amber, very well, very well. You did not have any injury to your back, did you? Amber, not visible. I remember checking obsessively as soon as I got off the carpet. Ms. Laws, my lord, now dealing with the incident that we've been detailed in the amended defense document in June still, we are on the Thanksgiving incident November 11th, please. This was November 2015. Once you have that, could you go to E31, please, just dealing with what you said took place during this incident, which you have described at paragraph 137 as one of the worst and most violent nights of the relationship. And Justice Nickel, 137 referring to December 15th. I thought you were talking about November 2015. Ms. Laws, yes, you're absolutely right. I have the wrong reference. Ms. Laws, I'm very grateful, my lord. What you said in relation to that, we are going to come on to December. What you said in relation to that. And Justice Nickel, we've spoken about December already. Ms. Laws, we have already. I have one more question about that, if I can stick with the Thanksgiving at paragraph 136. We were in our place in LA. Johnny was using a lot of drugs, especially whitey stuff and weed. I noticed later that I had a lump on the back of my head and a busted lip from this. Is this all true? Amber, yes, it is. Again, this is a very short video, and in fact, there's a very short transcript, and it's that of evening. The transcript, my lord, is da-da-da-da-da. Miss Laws, perhaps we could first watch it, Miss Heard, because I'm going to ask a few questions about what you can see. It's only a few seconds long. We might need to play it again, and then I can ask about what we can hear, all right? First of all, before we press play, it is a very dark image. Can you confirm that that is the inside of one of the penthouses in Eastern Columbia building? Amber, it looks like it, but I can barely see it. I'm sorry. Laws, it is penthouse 5? Amber, penthouse 5? Laws, have a look. And Justice, I think the answer has been given that it looks like it, but it's very dark. So they play it. Miss Laws, do you recognize that as Penthouse 5 now? Amber, it looks like one of the penthouses. I cannot tell which one, but if you were suggesting it's 5, I have no problem. Miss Laws, it was Thanksgiving. Sorry? Amber, I cannot tell which penthouse it is. Miss Laws, that is Thanksgiving 2015. Amber, we would have eaten in either 4 or 5 for that. Miss Laws, you recognize that as Thanksgiving of 2015. Amber, yes. Finally, we got there. I'm going to suggest that you would know by looking at it that it was Penthouse 5 straight away. Amber, I'm sorry, it's too difficult for me to tell. And the person flicking the scarf, was that your father? Amber, my father. Who else did you recognize in the clip? Amber, Jack. I recognize Jack. And Justice Nickel, Jack is? Amber, Johnny's son. Miss Laws, who else did you recognize? Amber, it was really hard to see. I've never seen it before, and I'm only seeing it. So we'll play it again. We will play it again because I'm going to suggest that you can see Miss Pennington and Mr. Manson is there and Mr. Depp is there. We will play it again. Have a closer look. Amber, I believe I hear Marilyn Manson's voice. I do not know if that is Rocky or myself or Whitney. I cannot tell from this lighting, but I would imagine we were all there. That would make sense. So this is the evening that I have read the account out, so you have, as you have given it, about how you resulted in that way and ended up with a cut lip. But I said I was going to come to the transcript. In fact, my lord, it's 171. Everyone has it. Miss Laws, it is the video of Thanksgiving 1. Sorry, it's a mistake. It should start a little more room. You can see Miss Heard at the top. He is saying a little more room. It is Marilyn Manson that we can see here saying, he's a monster scaring me, and everyone is joking around. Are they not in that video? Amber, yes. And then Jack, you're a savage, and everyone is joking around. Are they not? Amber, yes. And then with the photograph, can I take you, please, in the same file? It is a photograph with you in it in the far right. Amber, yes. And Mr. Depp's son is in the middle. Amber, yes. Who's on the far left? Amber, it looks like Marilyn Manson, if I had to guess, from the fingernails. This was after you received a split lip? Amber, no. It was before? And Justice Nickel, just a minute. Amber, no, it was not. Our fights never happened in front of the whole family. They typically happen behind closed doors once everyone had gone or gone to bed. After everyone had gone home. Amber, or gone to bed. Can I ask you to flick over to P49? That has a close-up and is quite clear of you having no injury on that as well. Amber, yes, it seems like all 3 photographs were taken around the same time. Then the question is, does that photograph show you with an injury? Amber, no, it was taken before. Raquel Pennington is someone who saw quite a lot of when you were living with Mr. Depp, was she not? Amber, yes. And we can see that she is on that video, can we not? Amber, again, I could not tell who was whom, but she was there. She was there. You know, do you not, that she has made a statement in these proceedings? Amber, I'm aware of that. And also she has dealt with this incident in her statement or statement summary because she was there that night. And Justice Nickel, just remind me what we have. Can I put it away? Miss Laws, there is also a witness statement, but is the summary that I'm going to take the witness to. And Justice Nickel, that actually is what I was going to ask about because I remembered that for some of the defendant's witnesses, we only had a summary. But I was told that for one or more statement had subsequently come in or that we could use a summary of that evidence in chief. Miss Laws, there is a statement. Okay, Miss Laws finally gets her paperwork sorted out. She apologizes. She said, but if you stick within that tab, I'm going to take you to the statement of Raquel Pennington rather than the summary. Apologize. Amber, it's a different tab, he said. Oh my God, they're still looking for tabs. Okay, so question. It is Miss Pennington's account. I attended Thanksgiving dinner with Johnny and Amber and a number of others at the apartment Penthouse 5 in November of 2015. At one point, late in the meal, Amber went upstairs to look for Johnny and stayed up there for a long time. After a long time, they both came downstairs. When I asked Amber what had happened, she told me that John had thrown a bottle of wine at her in the bedroom. I went to look and found that a full bottle of wine had hit and broken a piece of that art Amber really loves about the bed, and that the broken glass was scattered all over the bed. I went back downstairs and spoke to Amber. She was upset, but just wanted to get through dinner without further problems. Now, what she is saying is that the assault took place while everyone was there and that you had to go back downstairs. Amber, no, she was saying, oh, massage, she's wrong? Amber, excuse me? Massage, is she wrong? Amber, no, she's saying that this part of it took place while she was there and others were downstairs. She was just describing the first part of the fight. So the incident has two parts now, does it? Amber, our fights typically involve many parts. So you're just making this up as you go along to try to fit with the evidence that comes out later, are you not? Amber, no, I have had this information. So as you see, this is a lying account. We see from Raquel Pennington, but we can deal with that later. She has got one thing very wrong, has she not? And that because when she says that in Penthouse 5, she has gone upstairs asking you what is happening, and you tell her that Johnny had thrown a bottle of wine at you in the bedroom. She went and looked and found a bottle of wine had broken a piece of art that you really loved above the bed, and the broken glass was scattered all over the bed. I think we heard from you this morning that there was no beds in Penthouse 5, were there? Amber, not in Penthouse 5. You go upstairs in Penthouse 5 to go to the upstairs where the bedroom is in Penthouse 3. And Justice Nickel, just a minute. You go upstairs in Penthouse 5 to go across to Penthouse 3? Amber, exactly. I'm just trying to fill in the details for Miss Laws so she understands. Justice Nickel, Miss Laws, I do not know whether this is a question that I can ask of you, collectively, the lawyers in the room, but it would be helpful to have some kind of plan. Miss Laws, there is one, yeah. And Justice, of all the penthouses, so I can get a sense of how they interact. Miss Laws, my lord, there is. In fact, there are several plans. And Justice, if it exists already, then perhaps somebody could point it to me. Miss Laws, it does. I'm sure we will get the reference for you in a moment. While we're doing that, I think you accept that there is no bedroom in Penthouse 5. Amber, no, the only way she could enter Penthouse 3 without leaving the apartment is to go upstairs to enter through the upstairs of Penthouse 5 to enter into the bedroom of Penthouse 3. What you are doing is effectively trying to explain away the fact that Raquel Pennington has got something fundamentally wrong in her statement. Amber, she has got nothing wrong in her statement. I was trying to explain the layout to you since you did not seem to understand it. So she does not describe the fact that she had to go into Penthouse 3, and nor do you at any stage in either of your statements. Amber, I do not understand why that is necessary. I'm sorry. And Justice Nickel, well, at the moment, what Miss Laws is putting to you is that Miss Pennington does not say she went from Penthouse 5 to Penthouse 3. Amber, oh, I see. And Justice, do you agree with that? Amber, I disagree with the representation. The apartments are connected upstairs, so they would be effectively used as one large unit. Miss Laws, there is another slightly longer clip, so this may help you about whether you recognize Penthouse 5, bearing in mind that you are not quite sure. We can play that, and there is a transcript of that, my lord, and I'm going to make sure I give you the correct reference. Miss Laws, we can finish this topic fairly swiftly once I have dealt with this. She's having computer issues. Put that transcript to one side, then they're looking for another one. Okay, so they're looking at Aaron Bruin's notes. Question, these are Aaron Bruin's notes. We can see that on 26th of November 2015, she has made an entry, making it clear that in fact, she's joined in on Thanksgiving. RN visit client and husband, client JD's home in downtown Los Angeles. Client AH notified RN that she will need refills on her routine. And then it goes on about your medication. So she was there that day, was she not? Amber, yes, this reminds me. Slaz, she was there, was she, at the time before or after you had been hit? Amber, the first interaction I had with Johnny, he just threw a bottle at me. Sorry, I was asking about whether she was there or not. Amber, she was downstairs. And Justice, I think you have established that Miss Hurd agrees she was there, but then you asked whether she was there before or after the altercation. Miss Hurd is giving her answer. Amber, so the violence, what I would call violence at the time, no, she was there downstairs in Penthouse 5 for the bottle throwing, the decanter breaking, the painting breaking. I remember there was a slight altercation at the top of the stairs involving wine and Johnny grabbing me by the short collar. Miss Laws, can I just ask, what the fuck? Amber, that was an altercation, so I was trying to answer your question in full so you had the most information. And I can answer you the best way possible. There was a slight altercation, but it was not what it later became after everyone left, which she was not there for. So right. I was not asking for another description. In Justice, Miss Laws, you've asked a question. Miss Hurd has given her answer. As I have understood, the answer is that she was there for the interaction that you have described involving a painting, but when you were asked whether Miss Baroon was there when you were assaulted, I think you said she was not. Amber, correct. How did he get that out of that? Honestly. If someone made sense of it, I need it written in crayon of how she made that make sense in that man's head. Miss Laws, she was downstairs during part of the assault on you? Amber, part, yes. Miss Laws, so was Rocky Pennington. And then Rocky Pennington comes down and you say the second part happens after they have all gone home? Amber, it got much worse. And after the video, after the photograph? Amber, yes, it got much worse later. It is just a lie, is it not? Amber, no ma'am. I do not know if the video was all ready, but if it's not, I will move on. I think, my lord, I'm going to have to move on. It is taking a little time. So then Miss Law says, my lord, this may be a convenient moment now for matters to go into private. So then they took all the things that we heard in the VA trial, they take that into private. And yeah, yep, that's what happened. So we're going to cut it there and we'll come back, because then what happens is they have Josh Drew on the stand and they have a couple other people on the stand, and then they bring Amber back for the remainder of the day. So we will continue with the next video of what they had to say. And honestly, I think we should look at Josh Drew, the world's best witness, when we're done. But yeah, have a wonderful day. I love you. I appreciate you. And I'll see you guys next time.